I have already recorded this 2 times. This is the 3rd time. First time, I didn't like the way it looked. Second time, the camera died in the middle and I did not know, so I kept going and realized it was dead and recorded absolutely nothing. So here we are, take 3. You know what they say, 3rd time's the charm, right?
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine,
right?
And you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Right? Hello and welcome back. So I recently posted my first vlog, and in that vlog I mentioned that I have lost about 28 pounds. And a couple people were interested and have reached out since then asking me if I could make a video about it. And so here I am. I'm gonna get into the details of how I changed my diet, what my new fitness routine looks like, and all the details. So stick around. Let's get right into the video. I want to put a quick disclaimer. If you are someone who's sensitive about the topic that is weight, please join us in a different video. This might not be the video for you. And I also want to mention that I am not a doctor. I am not a nutritionist. I am not a professional in any way, shape, or form. I'm just a girl on the internet who is sharing what she did and what has helped her in the hopes that it helps someone out there. And with that being out of the way, let's jump right into the video. Saying that this has been a journey, that's an understatement. It has been such a journey, and it's been taxing physically, emotionally, mentally, but it was well worth it. Let's start from the beginning. I started noticing that I was gaining weight in 2020. Yeah, I know, shocker. I went from someone who was really physically active, I would go to work, I would walk, to someone who stays now indoors because I was working from home. I truly experienced what being sedentary means. I was in my fridge 24/7, eating, binge eating, and I mean, I was in lockdown. I did not exercise in any way, shape, or form. So I did notice that I was gaining a few pounds back then, but it was also not a major concern. I grew up as a skinny child. I actually struggled a lot with putting on weight in my early years. I was doing modeling and all of that, so I was quite skinny. If I can find some pictures, I'll insert them. So when I started gaining a few pounds, it was great. It was great for me. I felt like I was getting thick, so that was no trouble. I actually enjoyed it. I was happy with it. So I kept eating. And fast forward to 2025, the gap between 2020 and top of the year 2025, I had gained a little over 45 pounds, with majority of it being in the past year or 2. So yeah, I was feeling the weight. I was feeling quite heavy. I was considered overweight at the beginning of the year. I was weighing 186 pounds, and for reference, I'm 5'10.5". It wasn't just that though, I felt the weight on me. I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs without feeling quite tired and out of breath. I was sluggish. I also had a few things come up, my doctors, in regards to my weight that was getting a bit scarier and things like that. So that was already in the back of my mind. What I think I consider to be the turning point was earlier this year. We had to go to a wedding. It was truly a beautiful wedding and we had the best time. And a couple of days later, one of our good friends sent us videos of us at the wedding and pictures, and innocently I looked at them and I didn't recognize who I was looking at. I think this was the first time that I look at photos of me and videos and I can see the weight. Normally, I don't know if it's like angles or what, but I wouldn't see it as much as I did in these ones, and I did not like what I was seeing. And that, coupled up with all the things that were going on in my mind, health-wise. In my mind, I feel like that's when the shift happened. I had a mindset shift and I knew I had to do something about it and I had to change it immediately. So that's what I did. I got to it and I understood that there are no quick fixes. This is something that I need to work at and maintain if I'm able to even get to it. It was a lifestyle change that I had to implement. And so, yeah, once I understood that, I had to get on it. And that for me right there was the turning point. All right, so let's talk about food because that was about 80% of the progress that I made. I don't know if it's just me, but I didn't grow up in a household that taught me how to track my food and count my calories and all the knowledge that I think I needed to know around food and nutrition. I think up until the point when I started this journey at the top of the year, I was just eating as I felt and I wasn't giving much value to whether I'm buying what kind of food or if I'm buying whole foods or processed foods or this. Like, I genuinely was just eating how I felt. Ignorance is bliss, and I think I was blissfully just eating whatever. So at the top of this journey, I understood that I needed to change a lot about my eating habits and just my relationship with food in general. And that was something that would take a while, but I knew it had to be done. The first thing that for me was so important to do was to learn and actually educate myself on all things around food and nutrition, things that are good in my body, things that are not, and just like have a good understanding of what my body needs, what portions I need to give it, what cues I need to be looking out for, and things like that. And that's what I did. And I dived headfirst in just trying to understand all of these things and how to track and everything food. I needed a full understanding. Now, I did not take time while not doing anything as well. While going through all of that, I understood one major thing about weight loss is that you cannot lose weight if you're not in a caloric deficit. What does that mean? That just means that you're eating food, you're eating an amount of calories that is less than your body burns every single day. So that way you're kind of grabbing into the rest of like the reserves and actually losing weight. Obviously, if you want to maintain weight, then you have to eat a certain amount of calories that also kind of matches what you're burning every day. And if you're eating a surplus, then you will bulk up or actually gain weight. And in my case, I needed to eat in a caloric deficit. But that came with knowing and tracking the food that you're eating. I had to track my food for over 2 weeks. I needed to visualize what the portions look like and how much of this am I allowed to put into this. Like, I needed to visually have a better understanding around the food and the calories and just match it in my mind to be able to stop consistently always tracking, so to speak, but eat within the same amount each day, knowing very well that I am still in a caloric deficit. So yeah, I started tracking what I was eating, not obsessively, but I did make sure that I was eating within the same, roughly the same amount each day. And I think I ate the same thing for over 2 months. Yeah, probably about 2 months. I wanted to keep it the same just because I visually knew what was in everything that I'd already like planned on and weighed and all that. So it stays the same each day, and I'm sure that I'm in a caloric deficit. And so every week I was losing, whether it's 1 pound or 2 pounds, and it added up. And I was seeing the results. And so there was no reason for me to stop, at least in those first couple of months. I also try to focus on whole foods. As someone who lives in America, this is something you should know, I feel like, but I didn't know. I did not. So I didn't really care so much about what I was buying at the grocery store, things like that, but it mattered, and it's the type of food you're getting. It was so important that I stick to the whole foods. And when I say whole foods, I was eating salmon, chicken. I eat my veggies, eat my healthy fats, avocados, things like that. Just a healthy meal. And I also prioritize making it at home, so I know the extra stuff that is going in, and I'm accounting for that as well. Because in so many cases, people don't, you think you're in a caloric deficit, but you're not, just quite simply because you're adding these little things that are not counting, but they do have calories and they do count, and they most likely take you out of that caloric deficit or throw off your numbers, whatever you are thinking your calories are per day. So I prioritize heavily eating at home, making home cooked meals, whole foods, and just eating a balanced diet. No fast foods and ordering in and Uber Eats and all of that. I had to put that down for a half minute. I also stopped with all the sugars and alcohol for a minute. What? For at least the first couple of months. Alcohol, because I mean, who doesn't know that's not great for our body, even though we consume it. And it's not good for weight loss, for fat loss at all, since your body will try to get rid of the alcohol before, and it will not burn any fat. So I had to stop it for a little while. I still drink now, but I'm in maintenance, and I am also well aware when I am gonna drink and try to kind of prep my body for that. And I also had to stop with all the sugars, chocolates and things like that. Anything that basically wasn't doing good for me was out. And the last thing is I drank a lot of water. It is true that you need to drink a ton of water. I don't even think you can find me anywhere now without my jar of water. But yeah, I drank a lot of water. You have to stay hydrated. Like, I didn't buy any juices if I had to eat a meal. Yeah, I'm drinking water with the meal. Water, water, water. I can't emphasize this enough. To this day, water, water, water. I am someone who finds it really, really hard to drink a lot of water. I do not like drinking water, to be honest with you. But I had to understand that it's not about liking it or not. Water is life. Water is key, and it helps a lot when you're on a journey such as this. And you know what? In general, whether you're on a weight loss journey or not, you should be drinking a hefty amount of water every single day. And so I made it a priority, and I feel like it really made the difference a lot for me. So yeah, I didn't follow a strict diet per se. It's not like I was on a keto or, this kind of diet, but I did clean up my diet. I made sure that everything that I was eating was clean and good for me. I wasn't looking for no shortcuts, detox teas and this, that, not necessarily. I just cleaned up what I was already consuming and made sure that it was good for me. And I just made sure I maintained that caloric deficit, so my body is able to burn more than it's receiving, and that way I can lose the weight that I had. That's pretty much all I did in terms of food. If you guys want to get more in depth about all the foods and things like that, I can make a different video. This is in no way, shape, or form something that you should just replicate exactly for yourself. Our bodies are very different, and the amount of calories that my body burns in a day is different from you. And that depends on height and age and all kinds of things. So you gotta be able to figure that out for yourself and be able to know what it is, how many calories you need to, eat every day, and then kind of build up from that and make your own macros that you can follow. An easy resource for that is using the TDEE calculator, tdeecalculator.net, and there you are able to basically put in your information, and it will give you a very close estimate to what it is that your BMR is, which is your basal metabolic rate, what you burn every single day. And if you scroll down, you can be able to see what you need to eat to maintain the weight that you have. If you want to cut down, then it'll give you that, which is basically your maintenance minus 500 calories that you need to eat just so you lose weight. Or if you want to eat in a surplus, that as well. And you can also see the different, like if you want to be on a low carb diet, how many grams of each do you need to eat in a day. So it breaks it down very nicely for you, and that could be very helpful. That's actually one of the first steps that I did while I was figuring out what my metrics look like and what I need to follow, and that way I can actually build a meal plan from there. This is definitely a really good resource. I'm sure there's a ton of other calculators out there that could also do the same thing, if not more. So definitely do your research and figure out what it is your macros need to look like, what you need to eat every day if you want to be in a deficit, what that looks like, and then you can go from there. Now let's talk all things fitness. I started small, and I understood that the main thing that I need to be watching out and caring a lot about is gonna be the food, but I still do need to move my body, and that also helps in the process. So I needed to actually get into the gym and start working out and build a habit out of it. But I started small, not as small. I feel like it wasn't as small as should be, but I still think I started small. For me, it was all about just taking it day by day. I worried about today making it to the gym and having a little workout in, not necessarily where I'm gonna be in 3 months. And that for me was a game changer, because in the past I've tried so many times to go to the gym and I set goals that are really, really unattainable and big, and I always fail each time. 1 week, 2 weeks is all it takes, and I am out. So this time around, I just went in there without too many expectations, but I just knew I needed to form a habit out of it. Just like I wake up every morning and brush my teeth, I want to be able to wake up every morning and also work out that day, whether it's in the morning or the afternoon or whenever, but I need to be able to get a workout in, move my body in one way or another. When I started, I wasn't doing heavy lifting or anything like that. For me, it was just more about cardio and maintaining my heart rate in that zone 2 fat loss range, which if you don't know what that is, then look it up. I just went to the gym and walked on the treadmill, or I'd be doing 30 minutes on a Stairmaster, or maybe even less sometimes, or maybe cycling or swimming, whatever it was. Like, those were the major ways that I started in the gym. And then I progressively got into also lifting, starting small and slowly moving my way up. And that has also helped a lot, because when you're losing a lot of weight, it also affects to some degree, no matter how much of a big protein diet that I was going on, kind of mixing in just to make sure that I don't lose all the muscle. There was also a little bit of losing muscle volume. Weightlifting helped me build back some of that lost muscle, and that has helped with how I look and how I feel. I also want to touch on something that was brought to my attention in a conversation that I had with a friend, and it resonated with me. In previous tries to go to the gym, I have always, and I mean always, been intimidated by the gym. I do not know why, but I've always been intimidated by the gym. I would go and I would absolutely not know what to do. If I go with a friend, they had to tell me what it is I need to do. If I go with my husband, then what the hell am I doing here if you're not telling me what to do? He used to joke about it and be like, when I go to the gym, I disappear, like in a sense, like I'm invisible almost. But the thing that I found that helped me the most this time around is going to the gym and not having to worry and figure out what it is that I'm going to do in the gym while I'm at the gym. Like, it was more preparation, to the point where when I'm there, I know what it is that I'm doing today. I know I'm doing this exercise, and then followed by this. So the workout felt very seamless, and not having to think so much while I'm at the gym. And the main thing that was able to give me that was this app. It's called Fitbod. I used this app when I started, and it just made all the difference. I was able to go in there with a full workout. There's how-to videos in there, so I'm able to see, even if I don't know what the name of the exercise is, I can just watch and figure out how it's being done and then do it in the gym. It totally took the thinking part out of things, and it also exposed me to so many different exercises that from there was like a whole spark. And my social media turned into like figuring out workouts and fitness and things like that, and I just fell in love with all of that and literally learned so much about it that then the gym became like a safe space. And over time it's been like a game changer. I still use it to this day, not necessarily to the T, but I still just use it as like a way to record my workouts and like, you know, keep track of my weights and things like that. It was a game changer. If you are someone who's absolutely in the same position I was and wants to be in the gym but you don't know what to do, this is one that you should probably try out. I know there's probably a lot more. This is the one I used and I have nothing bad to say about it. So it changed the whole game for me about the gym. And over time it's made me feel comfortable in the gym. I feel confident in there, and yeah, there's not much to say. I feel really good when I go to the gym now. Now, the last thing that I want to touch on is mindset and consistency. This part I feel like a lot of people don't talk about enough, in my opinion. Mindset is everything. I had to get over the whole all or nothing mindset because it will not get you anywhere on this weight loss journey. It will only hinder your progress. It will get you to quit. There's gonna be days where you're absolutely crushing it, you're on fire, and there's gonna be days when you're not and things are not. Yeah, the key is to not give up. No matter what, just keep going and not give up. There were days where I did not even feel like going to the gym. I didn't want to have to eat what I was eating. I still showed up, even if that meant that I am going to do the bare minimum. If that meant that today I will go to the gym and walk on the treadmill, slow pace, just walk and get my steps in and come home, then that's what I will do. It doesn't always have to be a full workout. Or if I'm unable to do that or I'm not feeling it today, then I'm gonna stop and not go altogether. It cannot be that way. You just have to keep going, keep going. Don't give up. Another thing that I also want to mention is try taking progress pictures. Try journaling your progress. It is absolutely something that I wish that I did. I didn't get to do it because I just felt like the photos were embarrassing, and I don't know, but I definitely feel like that's something I regret not having done. You know, journaling and taking pictures of the full progress from where I started to this day. And I definitely feel like once you start seeing visually the changes that are happening, that's gonna be like the biggest motivation you could ever have, because you keep chasing that. And it also makes you feel, I'm getting what I'm worth, like my hard work is paying off. And that is a game changer. That will throw your motivation through the roof. You will be chasing more and more. And so I feel like journaling the progress, taking pictures, it's easy to see versus looking at yourself in the mirror every single day and not having something to compare with. All right, where am I at, you ask? As I mentioned earlier in the video, at the height of my weight, when I was the heaviest, I was 186 pounds. And as of today, I am 151 pounds. Yay. I'm absolutely happy and ecstatic that I was able to make such progress. I was aiming to be 155. I'm dilly-dallying around there. The aim now is not to lose any more. It's more like maintaining and working out and toning up my body and leaning it up more. But I'm just happy with where I'm at overall, and this is where I wanted to be. Of course there's more, of course we always want more, and I'm working towards, you know, more before I start. And for what it is that sparked this whole journey, I've achieved it, and I couldn't be more happier than that, because I gained confidence, I gained a healthier lifestyle. There's nothing you can compare to feeling healthier, and all the knowledge that I've acquired on this journey is truly priceless to me. So I'll leave you with this. It is not a quick journey, but it is not unsustainable. And if I can do it, then so can you. So that's my 28+ pound weight loss journey. And I hope that it motivates someone out there to also get their journey started. And as I mentioned before, if I can do it, so can you. I believe in you. If you want me to make a part 2 where I get more in details on all things around food and tracking and things like that, then definitely let me know down below in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave me a comment, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss another upload from me. Otherwise, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next one. Mwah!